Hello, good evening and welcome. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Fox, here on the show this evening is a legend that is Bridgeman and the star that is our Linda. Evening, boys and girls.
Evening, Oxjare. Evening, Bridgeman. Evening, everyone. I hope you're all well and had a great new year.
Well, can I say a massive good evening to you, Linda, and the rest of the guys. Huge good evening to the guys in the lobby and to all the Rangers fans that are listening in all over the world. Good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
Happy New Year to you, Linda, and I hope Santa was good to you, yeah?
Yeah, same to you, Ox. Yeah, I got everything I wanted, a few bits and pieces. As you get older, you seem to get less presents, but that's fine. It's
Depending who you are. Depending who you are, of course. Some people get giant televisions, yeah.
Fortunately, I'm not one of them.
No. Just to let people know that Mr. Bridgeman wasn't with us last night because he was getting his 96-inch telly fitted. 96 inch.
Nobody that knows me would even believe a word you said there. Right?
No.
96 inch, my God. Couldn't even get in the door.
His Christmas money he used on shares.
Oh, Linda, don't listen to him, please.
I don't believe a word.
Linda, you know me. Right, okay. Bridgeman, obviously no heard from you since the Patterson deal was completed, but we've not heard from you at all, Linda. Get us your thoughts on it.
Yeah, Ox, I think it was, it was a really great piece of business for the club. I know there's mixed views about it. As Rangers fans, we would all have loved to have seen a young guy come through from the academy and play in the team for a few years. But it just didn't work out like that for him. So I think we couldn't knock back that type of money, particularly in this current climate. We're just coming out of this pandemic, etc. So I think it was probably just too much money for the club to refuse. It's a great deal for everybody, including the young lad himself. Mm-hmm. And as I say, I just don't think the club could turn down that type of money, Ox. And I think it's a really great piece of business for the club.
All right, Bridge, now that it's confirmed, mate. Your thoughts?
Marvellous. Just absolutely fantastic for the club and for the boy as well. He's getting down there. I think it's a 5.5-year contract he's signed. That's him made for life. I mean, if he sees that contract, the wages he's going to be on, made for life.
I heard he signed his contract and then asked you where you got your telly for.
No, I don't think so. But there you are. Some people say things. However, no, seriously, I think it's a marvellous deal for Glasgow Rangers. I don't know that obviously what the actual price was. Some people are saying it was 12 and then 12 going up to 16. I don't know.
I think it's right. I think it's 12 million up front, Bridge, and we'll see that in the accounts, mate, when they come out. So the proof of the pudding will be in the eating, but I believe it's 12 million up front potential for.
I'll be very, very happy if it's that. That's an absolutely unbelievable figure. Last season, maybe even the season before, we were saying how much do we want for Morelos, and some folk were saying 10 million. You know, that kind of thing. Where I'm thinking, no, you're looking for nearly 20 million for him. But here we never ever got in for him. So I think the last valid offer was 14 million. Yeah, the young boy nearly beat it. You know.
I know that people have got different views on it, and people are entitled to their views, but they all know that I'm always right. But that's a different thing. But when you put it in context, quite an established international, English international, went for Atletico Madrid to Newcastle today for the same fee.
Yeah. Is that the guy Trippier?
Aye.
Yeah. I know,
You know?
Ox, and I think as well, Ox, it's a good marker for us as a club as well, and the fact that that's kind of what we've managed to get from somebody who's made very few, first team starts. I know it's just potential. I understand that. So all our other players who are established players who are, have made more appearances for their country, that sort of thing, then nobody's going to get our players on the cheap anymore, Ox. That's just not going to happen. So it was a bit of a benchmark in that regard too, and it just lets other clubs know that if you're going to want one of our established players, you're going to have to come in with some real top money, I think.
Yeah, can I just say on that, I believe this sincerely, that Rangers have never been in at the tables where these kind of deals were available for their players. So I don't know what it was, but they just weren't in it. So there was some, I don't know if it was a club of some description, but their neighbours across the road, the city, the other side of the city, they have been involved in that and so got some smashing prices for their players. And Rangers could never get their foot in the door for that. And now they've got it. And as you said, Linda, that's it. That's the first one in. So if anybody else wants to come in and try to get one of your players, they better come in with bigger money than that, if you follow what I mean. That's the way I look at it.
Obviously, it depends how long you've got in your contract and all these things, people's age, etc. And you're only valued what other people want to pay for you. It's as simple as that, Linda.
Yeah, absolutely, Ox. And we had that situation with Alfie, didn't we? Where I think we knocked back, was it 18 million? Was that from Lille, from what my memory serves me right? We thought he was worth more than that. I saw a couple of rumours today. Obviously, there's going to be lots of rumours this month, Ox, and we'll just be dealing with it as it comes along. But Newcastle want to sort of break the bank to sign Alfie in 20-25 million. But they are only worth what a club is willing to pay for them. But I do think that we're in a stronger position now in terms of our negotiating, and that's the kind of a point I was trying to make there with that.
Good point. Talking about rumours, Mr. S. Skipper has said that Ronnie Corbett is 6'2" in Bridges' new television.
Skipper. Happy New Year, Skipper. Well done, pal. Well done.
Oh, sorry, mother.
Oh, yes, I like it. I like it.
I've been working on that one.
Some people will miss that one, but that was quite good. That was quite good, Linda.
Thank you, Ox.
Yeah. Look, I know people are entitled to their views, but better never stops, Linda. Better never stops. So today, I've started signing players up, firming up professional contracts. Brought a boy in, James Sands.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Rye, New York, just outside New York. Yes. American internationalist. So we'll see what it takes us. We'll sign them on loan. I believe it's 18 months initially, and we'll see what it takes us. I like this try before you buy. What do you think, Linda?
Yeah, I think, you can see that you're going to get 18 months to have a look at them. Sometimes, Ox, if it's maybe less time than that, it's maybe not enough for the player to actually try and make an impression. But I think the 18 months seems to be, it seems to be quite a good deal. It'll probably suit him as well. He'll be able to come over. It's a new country for him to settle into. I think a lot of players that have played there have made the moves abroad, Ox, but I understand that that's not something that he's ever wanted to do, and he just thought that this was the right time for him. Apparently there was interest from some Bundesliga teams as well, but he fancied coming to Rangers. I think there's maybe a wee connection there with Gio, isn't there, through the Man City group? So obviously I think Giovanni knows a bit about him. I don't know anything about him, I've got to be honest with you. I did the obligatory, Googling of him.
He was also on loan at Louisville. There's a famous place in America, Bridge.
Indeed, Louisville.
You know who was born there?
That's Marcellus Clay.
Yes.
Muhammad Ali.
Aye. So he was on loan there. He's came to us. What's your view on 18 months? Have a good look at somebody with the option to buy Bridge. Obviously, if it doesn't work out, you walk away, yeah?
No, I like it very much. But the guy's already made his name in America. America just won the CONCACAF Cup or something like that, beat Mexico just no long ago and 1-0, and he was in the team. So we're not buying somebody who's never played football. He's played football at a good level.
7 international caps he's got for America,
yeah. So we can't. I don't think we can say too much. Excuse me. He was Player of the Year for them last year, apparently, as well. So there's good things about the guy, and he's coming over here to get a wee taste of football in the United Kingdom, and possibly with possibility of a move for him in 10 years' time or something like that, get over to Europe. But if he comes to the Rangers and makes it at all, which I hope he does, then it'll be fantastic for him. What a wee step up. 20-year-old. Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. We'll see what it takes us, Linda. Every new signing, doesn't matter your pedigree's a gamble, 6'1" defender midfield, so it covers a few bases for us,
Yeah, definitely, Ox. Yeah, quite a versatile player, as you say. Right, I think centre back, but he can play we're talking about it today on social media. He can play as a sitting 6, and he can also cover it right back as well. So it's quite good to have versatile players, but hopefully he's a versatile player, but he's going to be good enough to get into the team, But as you say, every signing is a gamble. But as I said earlier, hopefully Gio maybe knows a wee bit about him as well, and really quite likes him as a player. But only time will tell. But welcome to Rangers, James Sands.
Absolutely.
And I hope he does brilliantly, Bridge.
Yeah, absolutely. No, when you think about it, the next set of players that we're concerned about of leaving is in fact somewhere in midfield. And we don't have anyone at the moment in midfield as good backup, to be honest. And then you go, there's a young boy to come in, he's got versatility, so he could actually cover a couple of places if the management decide to sell until such times as they buy a fully fledged person. But it might turn out to be a real star for us.
You don't know, you just don't know. I remember when Doug Advocat signed Claudio Reyna. Let's be honest, I don't think any of us knew much about him. I think he made his debut at Dundee United, and he just slotted in and played several positions. And I can't maybe you get caught up in your memory, Linda, but I don't think that guy ever had a bad game for us. I thought he was superb. He was a sort of power patch, 7 out of 10 every week,
Absolutely, Ox. Yeah, it was a fantastic. From what I remember, he was a great player for us. Hardly ever put a foot wrong, Mr. Reliable. And as you say, you're taking a chance. We'd never really heard of him, but he went on to have a fantastic career, didn't he, even when he left us? But yeah, another American signing, and it'll be interesting to see how the young man settles in. And as you say, that's things moving now, and you would probably expect another couple of signings to come in this month. I'm not sure how much of the money that we got for Patterson that Giovanni will get to spend, and it'll be interesting to see what sort of market we're still shopping in, Ox. Whether we'll be willing to maybe have a marquee signing where we're spending a few million. I'm just not really sure how that'll all pan out, or whether we'll still go for loan deals or people maybe at the end of contracts. But as I say, I do expect us to strengthen, because you kind of need to, don't you? Because we've got a few players struggling with injury as well just now. So we do need some backup, I think, as Bridge said.
Bridgeman?
Yeah, 100%. Excuse me. I honestly think that the Rangers, I really do think the Rangers are going to go for loan players. That's what I think they're going to do. And that's a wee example. Obviously, Van Bronckhorst knows the Dutch area very, very well, Dutch and Belgium. So the chances are he might have a wee idea of what Bosmans are coming up in January. So it could happen. It could happen. They get somebody in their Bosman, would they still call that Bosman? Free contract.
Free Bosman. Yeah. Listen, I'll just advise you, Linda, don't go Dutch with Bridge. You end up paying.
What a terrible thing to say. But I have to say, it's the truth, Linda. It's the truth.
Every time. What do you want to drink? What do you want to drink? Oh, get them. All right, okay, Bridge, cheers.
It's, and you know, I have to tell you the truth as well. Mr. S. Kipper always brings me some sweeties to the gums from the, what do you call it, the bistro. If I meet him there, I've got a wee sweetie for you, Bridgeman. Oh, thank you. So I don't bring him anything else back. I don't give him anything else. It's all one way.
I would ask this, all I would say is I would ask to see a receipt for these sweets.
Oh no, I don't want to know.
That's what I would say. That's Mr. S. Kipper, see a receipt for them.
You know, don't say that. Skipper's not like that.
He done for reset, Bridge. When you're eating these sweeties.
He gave me a beautiful big Toblerone, which actually her and I just finished last week, so it was just beautiful.
It usually takes a week to eat one of those Toblerones.
It takes me 2 days to break one of the triangles off.
With the heat coming off that telly, if you don't eat it quick, it melts.
I just love it, by the way. Just love it.
Ox.
Yes,
some of the chat on Facebook, they were saying, I forgot all about that, and I don't know how I forgot, but Reina scored the Champions League against Parma.
Yes, I think Tony Vidman did another one.
Yeah, that's right. How could I forget the Parma goal? That was amazing.
Very easily. It's the age, Linda. It's the age.
It is, Bridge.
I think I was a babe in arms at the Parma game.
When Bill you read.
You know. Or was that the Sport Lisbon game? I don't remember.
Oh, I love it.
Anyway, okay. So what we've done that. We're moving on. Things never go, and young Nathan's away. There's nothing we can do about it. People have got their point of view entitled to it, but we move on. And this is the start. I think this could be quite an exciting month, Linda. Obviously, you're going to hear loads of stories, loads of players linked with different teams, and the sooner it's done, the better.
Yeah, definitely, Ox. You tend to think that we've obviously signed the boy Sands today. You might get another one maybe coming in maybe next week or the next week or so, and then you get to those last sort of 2 or 3 days where Rangers historically have kept us all waiting to the kind of 11th hour, haven't they? And then they announce it on social media and telling everybody to stay up, don't go to bed, we've got something to tell you. But as I say, it is exciting, and I know there's not been a lot of activity, as much activity anyway in the last couple of windows, but there might be a wee bit more this month than what we were expecting, and that's probably kind of all over football.
Bridgeman, are you a fan of the transfer window?
I like it. I mean, I don't like Rangers being involved too much, but I like listening to particularly English teams, because there's some tremendous moves come up in there. And the one I'm intrigued with at the moment is Manchester United need to spend another £200 million to get a midfield because they've got nobody. So they've got a long way to go. That's what I like. I like this. But Rangers, I don't like Rangers in it too much. But when they're in it, I love it. Absolutely love it. Love seeing who they're signing, obviously. Doesn't it? But I don't get too excited with the Scottish side of things, I must admit. Only when it's Rangers. But the English ones I do. I get excited with that.
Okay. Are you a fan, Linda?
Yeah, I quite like it. I do like watching it the last day, when there's all the excitement and all the kind of late deals. As Bridge says, sometimes when it's Rangers, if we're buying somebody, yes, but there's something this month as well, Ox. I think we'll be a wee bit on tenterhooks in terms of our big players. And when we get the window closed at the end of the month and we've held on to them, you kind of breathe a bit of sigh of relief. So I do like it, but generally in terms of our players just now, I'm just still a wee bit apprehensive in terms of who we might lose. However, you've just got to accept it, and hopefully we'll still have a strong enough squad going forward. But as I don't know who you think yourselves, there's a possibility that they might go. It's hard to tell, really, isn't it?
Listen, everybody. Everybody,
absolutely.
anybody, you just don't know. What football's crazy now, and people can come in with mad offers for anybody, but you just have to go with it. I just think that, I think it was yourself at the start of the show, Bridget said that we've sort of got ourselves in a stronger bargaining position, and I agree with that. People know that we're no where we were 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. So if they do come in and they start talking about it, the numbers have changed dramatically. We're in a stronger position. So you just take it as it comes, yeah.
I think the only time it was slightly different is when we were allowed to form as a new club, as they called it. We started to go around. Ali McCoy was bringing people in, and they were paying them enormous salaries for who they were. There's a few people come in and got great money after Rangers, and Rangers, as we went through getting up to the Championship, the Champions League or whatever it was, Division 1 was it? Division 1, something like that, so I think we spread a lot of money. Our fans spread a lot of money throughout the country, and that's the last time we did anything like that. So, but we brought in people like Bocanegra left. We ended up with Kyle. Was it Kyle? Was that his name? Big Kyle, the Arts. Oh my goodness gracious, Kevin Kyle.
How would you rate the Americans we've had? We've had Claudio Reyna, who we've mentioned, Carlos Bocanegra, DeMarcus Beasley, Maurice Edu, Claudio Reyna top. What are they for?
Yeah, I would agree. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Edu's... What you're saying there, Bridge, that the guy that plays in midfield with the intelligence is far better than a big rugged centre half. Is that what you're saying?
For certain games, most assuredly.
All right, I'm just. Right, number 2. Who would you? I'm thinking I might have. Oh well, you go. Who's number 2 then, Bridge? Who would you?
Edu.
Or I would go for Bocanegra.
You could go for him, all right. You could.
I would go for Edu as well, but that goal he scored against the team from the other side of the city will long live in my memory.
You're absolutely right. I've never forgotten it. That was the most exciting time. Unbelievable. The ball was bobbing everywhere, and they managed to get just wonderful.
Well, that must have been some hospital. That must have been some honeymoon with Mrs. Bridge. If that was your
it was wonderful. Every honeymoon's wonderful.
He's more honeymoons than Elizabeth Taylor. Him.
Oh yeah. Every one of them great.
That must have been at your end, Bridge. That must have been right in front of you at the Copeland Road, was it?
Oh God, aye. It was unbelievable. The place went absolutely crazy. Absolutely, the ball was bouncing coming out. The big boogies, and it had the shot, and it bounced and bobbed next thing you know. Just fabulous. I just love all these games. There was another one, the Lafferty did a similar thing. Incredible stuff. Just magic.
It was a special goal. So you went for Edu, number 2. I'd go for Edu 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonder.
Yeah, as I say, I've gone for Edu second, and then I'd probably go Bocanegra. We forgot about big Matt Polster.
Polster. Oh, Mrs. Polster, she was number 1. Also Emerson Hindman and Zellerman. I quite liked. I thought he was a nice player, Zellerman, but I don't know how he just sort of disappeared out of the game. But were they established for us now? But that's another 3. That's 7. Sure, surprising.
Zellerman came from Arsenal. Came through the Arsenal youth system, I think. And he was a lovely player, great passer.
Nice game.
Well,
by the way, that was a mistake when we were winning that cup final 2-1 against Hibs. We took him off, mate. He was having that.
Absolutely, he was the best man in the park. So we made a few mistakes, but Zellerman I thought was a good player. I think we wasted him, to be honest. And it maybe stuck him in the wrong position. He was getting his leg whipped away from under him. And therefore he couldn't do what he wanted to do. Whereas if we played him in the same position, but just every game, let him play whatever it is we're playing him, because he's a wee bit of a star. But no, they move him. And when you move him, he started to get fouled and he couldn't cope with it. So rough game.
So I don't know if he was up to maybe the hustle and bustle of Scottish football, but you could tell there was a football player in there. Yeah, DeMarcus Beasley, he was another one. Scored a couple of fantastic goals. I remember one at Tannadice, and also he scored in Lyon for us. You remember that, Linda?
Yeah, I do remember that. I knew it was Europe, but thanks for reminding me it was Lyon, because I was trying to think what team was it. He wasn't with us for that long, was he? But he was
I'll check that out for you.
Maybe longer than what you think. So obviously he was involved in that the terrific European run that we had then. But he was quite a fast player, wasn't he?
Aye.
And he wasn't the biggest guy. He maybe had to take a wee while to adapt to Scottish football, but he seemed to enjoy his time here as well. He always played with a smile on his face, I think, from what I remember. I don't know what happened to him after he left Rangers. I wouldn't even be able to tell you if he went on.
I think he's the most capped American player, but I'll check that out. He played 46 games for us, 31 starts. 15 subs, 7 goals.
Right.
Made his debut Inverness in a 3-0 win 2007, and he left us in 2009-10 season. So he was with us 2 and a bit seasons, yeah.
Yeah.
He was built like a cigarette paper too.
He was with us 3 years, Linda. But he wasn't a regular. He only played 20 league games in total. So he'd be worth about 30 million now. I'll check his actual what he'd done. I think he was the most capped American player.
No, is that no Bocanegra?
No, I think DeMarcus Beasley went past him. I'm just checking.
Wow. That's tremendous. Bocanegra's over 100 caps.
DeMarcus Beasley's got 126 caps.
Wow. Gee whiz. You wouldn't believe that. That's tremendous. He was a wee athlete, wasn't he? He was a wee speed merchant, Did some good stuff for us.
Right, well, we get these phone lines opened, yeah?
Go for it.
Yep, go for it.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show. It's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Have you got your diary there, Linda?
Yes.
Just to let you know, it's 364 days to old Davey's birthday, yeah? So you can take a note of that, yeah?
Right. I've written it in my diary. I'll send him a birthday card.
Yeah, 64 days.
Aye, Bocanegra 110 caps. So I think the Beasley is. I'll read that and find out if he is the most capped player. Aye, maybe play for us. But aye, they've been good. So what's this going to be when we eventually play this team that don't want to play it? They're going to call it the Battle of Midway Bridge?
Midway, aye. Battle of Midway. I don't even know what's happening with that mob. They're just making a fool of the whole of the SFA and SPFL. That's what they're doing. They're making a fool of them, and they should be thoroughly embarrassed. I don't know what's going on. Don't know.
4 World Cups Beasley played in, by the way. 4 World Cups.
Wow.
I heard that they approached the SFA and SPFL or the government, or maybe all three, tried to get the crowds for the, what do you call it, up for the Hibs game.
Yeah, it's only one phone call, gets through to all 3 of them, mate. You only need to make...
It's amazing. It's just amazing.
Don't get me started. But aye. So the Americans, Battle of Midway. Yeah, maybe.
So do we know if we have any idea they're definitely going to play anybody?
I don't think they want to play football again, mate. But that's just me personally. Yeah.
Bridge, they want the league called, but it's to go to second place team.
That's the way they'd have to have it, wouldn't it? I think the whole thing is just farcical. I'm watching my colleagues down south there in Oxford and all the rest of the boys that are on with us. They're all enjoying English football, played at a fantastic pace. I'm not saying every game brilliant, but it's lovely to watch. And here, we're here, we can't see nothing. We can't see nothing.
And it's not made any difference. Having the stadiums opened and the games haven't made any difference to what we're dealing with at the moment as a society. Yeah?
Correct.
You know, so it's crazy. Criminal. Anyway, talking about criminals, we've not been joined by them, one of them. We've been joined by one of life's gentlemen, Alex Wishaw. Evening, Alex.
Good evening, Alex, sir. Bridgeman and Linda, happy new year to each and every one of you.
Oh, Alex.
Happy New Year to you, mate. Always great to hear from you.
Happy New Year, Alex.
Good stuff. Everybody keeping good?
Yeah.
I'm keeping fine, thank you.
Excellent. He's a wee song then, Alex. Go on. He's a wee song.
I'll wait till we win the championship, I'll sing a song.
Aye. He only does that when we win trophies, Bridge. Yeah?
Correct.
How we doing, Alex? What's on your mind, mate?
Oh, I was listening a couple of nights there, what do you call it? Obviously, the mixed feelings with the wee young Nathan and that going, but it was really a no-brainer at the end up. A young boy like that, potential unbelievable. And for he played just amount of games in that. And it's a fee that Rangers couldn't really refuse. That's how I look at it, you know. I've said before, everybody's got a price. Mm-hmm. And I think, what do you call it, when they went on 5 million at the beginning for him, I think that's turned his head a wee bit. And it's worked out a good deal, I see, for the club especially. And young Nathan will get in there, and I'm sure he'll enhance it so. And I'll keep a keen eye on his career, because he's definitely a good footballer, and I wish the boy every success.
Yeah. Aye, but listen, I know we were saying it was a great deal, but we're only having a pop at Nathan. We were just saying we think in a business footing it makes sense, yeah? Yeah, and also maybe a football setting that makes sense as well, yeah?
Oh, definitely.
You know,
when you put that sort of money.
What's your boys saying? What are they thinking of it?
Well, that was the thing about it, because you're thinking all the young ones and that, how they would go. It was quite mixed. My two boys were like that. They were like that about the money. They couldn't believe the money they went down for them. Mm-hmm. The other boys were like that. It was kind of mixed. I would say 60-40, because he was one of the young team coming through the ranks and all that, you know. They've seen him as, what do you call it, going to be the next great thing, the Rangers. And he could very well be, but once we were Jamie and Stephen that they've seen the money it was offered, that's some bit of money for a young boy to come through the Rangers ranks, and albeit the games he just played. Okay, he's a Scottish internationalist, but I wouldn't take that too much to play with Scotland international. You've only got Stevie O'Donnell in front of you, but the boy himself, as I say, he's definitely, his potential, he's got it there. But we've seen over the years a number of right good Rangers players going, and there's certain ones that, what do you call it, doesn't really bother me, has an effect on you, and certain ones that it does, and he's been one of them, because he's the young boy who watched them going right through. But it's all about competition with Rangers. I says that a long time ago, and he took James Tavernier to another level, and that's the reason that the boy's not been getting played. And I was off for him there last year and all, when James Tavernier took a wee bit of a jolt in his, what do you call it, game, and that was time to bring young Nathan in. But James Tavernier is away at another level, and the boy, he would be sitting there. He's too good a boy to be sitting on the bench, and he's got an opportunity to get in there, and he's going to a right good top league, and I'm sure he'll definitely be every success.
Linda?
Yeah, I agree with Alex. And I mean, the thing about Nathan Patterson is he just wants to play football now, Alex, doesn't he? And I mean, I just couldn't see him, getting a run of games in the Rangers team ahead of Tav. He's not going to be happy with just playing the odd cup match or the odd game where we should be comfortably winning, things like that. He's had a taste of international football. There's a lot of competition there as well in terms of the players that he's playing with on the international scene. I don't think he's got a lot of competition at that right back spot itself for Scotland necessarily, but generally for young Patterson, he must just be champing at the bit to play football. He's got a great opportunity to do that at Everton. Obviously the money will be a big pull as well. As Brid said earlier, he's going to be set up for life now. But he's got a better chance down there because of the situation with Everton and their right back. I think it's a guy that's been at the club a long time, a respected professional, but I think we'll probably find that he'll probably get that spot easier than what he would do at Rangers. So I think it's been a combination of a lot of things.
Big shout. Coleman's well thought of by them doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think is he 34, 35 now?
I think 33, I think. 33. He's a couple of years older than Tav, yeah.
I don't think from what I was reading, I don't think he's not been starting a lot of the games. So there is an opportunity.
Coming back for an injury.
Yeah, aye. It might not work out. Maybe he will have to sit in the bench for a wee while. I'm not necessarily sure that'll be the case. But as I say, it's been a combination of things, and he maybe just thinks it's time just for something fresh. But I don't know, Alex, if you've seen the wee message he put out on social media. And I know words can mean anything, but it was quite touching what young Patterson said, thanking everybody and he'll always be a Rangers fan, etc. He didn't need to do that. But as you say, I think it's just the right move for everybody.
Alex?
Oops, sorry.
Yeah.
On you go, mate.
I totally agree there with Linda. I think he's got a right good chance of making it down there. I really do. I know hindsight's a risk in football and that, but this is what you do. Coleman, as you say, has been established footballer down there to an injury. But he was coming back, he was playing left back there for a bit, because that Jojo Kenny, that right back there, that's something that Celtic had known. And there's no comparison there between Nathan Patterson and him. So I think he's got a right good chance down there. Benitez is another coach, and there was a game inside it, and he can maybe bring him on to another level and all. I just, as what Linda says about the post and that, it was a bit emotional, that, because it was straight for the heart. And this is what it is with the supporters, because we're all Rangers supporters when it comes to it. And he said the talent to put the jersey on, and he's lived the dream, the boy. Just a pity how things have worked out, but you just go with the best wishes. As I say, football's a risk. You hit a purple patch. Is that the right time to sell somebody you hold back and you don't eat? And I'm reading Mark Haley's book now, and it's good. It's really good. And he took one of the biggest risks of the lot, because he was a raw big centre forward when he went to Coventry City. He's obviously was under his father and that, Tony Haley, that he's all know anyway. But he went down the league to Portsmouth, and his father never spoke to him for about 6 months, because he went down the bottom of the league thinking that'll be the end and be all. And yeah, he went down to Portsmouth, and he was a revolution. Absolutely. End up getting carted to England, and you see what happened. He get transferred to AC Milan. So football, it just comes and it goes in certain ways. It's a bit of luck that you're there at the right time. It could be through injuries or what it is, and you get a chance. Some folk make it, some folk don't. Mm-hmm. But with young Nathan going down there and getting that sort of money, and his family and that, we know they're all Rangers and that, but it's some deal, and it's some deal for Rangers Football Club as well.
Can I play there, Oxford?
Yes, mate, of course.
I was just going to say that the boy that's right back with you is the Everton captain, much in the same instance with Tavernier. But I don't think he's going to be able to retain his position. He's got a wee bit of an injury problem. He can't get him 100% fit, so I'm led to believe. And if they can't get him 100% fit, you can see the damage that's doing to their team in the Premiership. They're very poor. So they're not a bad team. So as teams go, they can't win games and they can't defend properly, and that's down to just fitness, in my opinion. So I think there's about 4 or 5 players in there that can't get 100% fit. I'm talking match fit as well. So the boy, I think the boy Patterson will just stroll it in there. If he plays his game, he'll walk in. That is a fiddle, no problem at all. If he can cope with the English Premiership, good luck to him, because he's got a star there just waiting to shine on him. Believe me, marvellous. Good replacement.
Well, we'll see. Nathan's gone and James Sands has come in. Better never stops, Alex.
Well, there's one we got spoke about a couple of days. Don't really know much about the fella, just what I've seen in social media. But as I've said before, we've been quite fortunate with the Americans we've had in the team. Claudia Arena, you get through Edu, unbelievable players, Beersley, Bocanegra. So we've been gifted with a lot of good Americans. What you all know about the Americans is their coaching. When they go to my sister-in-law stays out there, and they go to coaching and they take everything in. So the guy will be coached properly. It's just like to see if he can come to the kind of level that Rangers want him. But here's hoping. He's versatile, so he just might be another wee gem. Let's see how it pans out. Gio and obviously the background staff, I'd imagine they'd have players, what do you call it, that's they've got earmarked that they can maybe bring in and loan in that, because I think that's the way Rangers maybe deal at the moment. But here's hoping, and I wish the guy every success when he comes in, the fella Sands.
I looks like a utility player, but we'll see where he comes in. You know, it looks where it'll be interesting to see where if he starts getting on the pitch or getting on the bench to start and see where it goes. We just don't know, Linda, do we?
No, you don't know. And as you said earlier, every signing can be a risk. I just hope he is going to be good enough to make a contribution, Ox. Because there's obviously some players that are still at Rangers that aren't really anywhere near the first team squad just now. You're talking, look at the guy Simpson, you've also got Barker. Jermaine Defoe as well doesn't seem to be anywhere near the squad either. I know it's his age is against him, etc. And we did give him that extension, and he was going to be involved in the coaching. So there'll probably be players that Rangers will want to try and get off the books, maybe put some of them out on loan. I'm thinking more about the guy Simpson, because I don't know what you guys think, but that he doesn't seem to have any future at the club, because obviously Bassey's keeping him out at the left centre back position, and he's not even an actual centre back. So I would expect there to be some outgoings as well. Maybe players that are not getting a game to go out and get some time.
Bridgeman, you quite liked Simpson. I've not really seen it. I don't want to judge the boy in 10 games, but you liked him. Was it the fact that he was left-footed?
Well, I liked the fact that he could play. Obviously, he's left-footed, but I liked the way he played. But it's just to do enough games, that's all. The only problem he got played and then he got injured, and he played and then he got injured. And then an injured player doesn't look good at all. If he's getting trying to play through an injury is one of the worst things that can happen to you. And everybody has played football has done that. Trying to play through, thinking everything's all right, and eventually sometimes at the level you go at, easily break down. So I think that's what's happened to that boy. He's been trying to play through a wee injury, and he's got another wee knock, and he's got another wee knock, and one line on top of the other. He just couldn't do it. And I think that's what's happened to him. I think his fitness is broken down. And he'll come back. Rangers want to play him. I quite liked him. I saw him playing when I thought he was fit. I thought he played quite well, quite neat and tidy. And he's got good. Rangers have a good left side. They with you've got a Rebo there, left-footed, and you've got Borna Barisic left-footed. Kent can play out in the left, no problem. So tons of people that could pick the ball up from him, and he can easily pass through, which is what you're looking for. And I'm afraid it just didn't happen from him. I think it's just injury.
Alex, I think Bridge has been very, very kind to what I've watched with Mr. Simpson, but what about you, mate?
I don't think he's up to be quite truthful. Especially if kind of overlooked some ample chances there to put him into the team that stood by Bassey and that to get into the centre half position, the left hand side. It's a shame because I thought the guy he played well against Celtic, to be quite truthful. But it's just maybe no worked out for him. I don't know. But he came up, as I say, every signing, it's a risk. It's got a risk. Some work, some don't work. It's ironic, really. If you think this time last year, who would have thought, out of all the players that was up for transfer speculation. And Morelos has been like that for the day he signed, probably, that we're all going to get in and sign with an English Premiership team. And the one guy that goes before them all is young Nathan Patterson.
No, you wouldn't have seen that.
Nobody would have seen that coming. No. Nobody.
No. Your thoughts on Simpson, Linda?
Well, I think I don't like, you don't like to sort of criticise any Rangers player. You know, they're trying their best, but when I went to Dunfermline game, the cup match when we won 5-0, Ox, and it was a wee bit of a stroll that game, and quite a lot of people kind of stepped up, played quite well, but he was the one player on the park that didn't impress at all. And I know it's hard to come in when you've not played, but you know, no disrespect to Dunfermline, but the level of opposition, he should have been strolling the game, and he just didn't. Any time the ball went near him, he misplaced passes, he kind of tripped over the ball, he just didn't look confident at all. And that kind of worried everybody. And everybody that was sitting around about me were quite shocked by his performance. So that kind of didn't give us any confidence about the guy at all. But he's not had a lot of opportunities, Ox, but I think that says it all, to be honest.
It's just, listen, you need a bit of luck. Maybe confidence, Bridge. Maybe he needs lost his confidence, no playing, huh?
Yeah, 100%. And I think you'll probably find I had a similar thought again about the Dunfermline game. I thought he was the fit. I just thought that boy's no fit. Maybe they put him in there because he thought it might be quite a tidy game, and he should be able to pull himself up and so on and so forth. But as Linda said, he didn't attend the game very well, put it that way. And he was stumbling a wee bit and misreading the game. And that to me, that's all about fitness and confidence. To me, that's all it is, and he just didn't have it. And maybe no confidence because he hasn't got the fitness. And I think he's done himself no service. He should have taken a week or two off and get himself sorted. To me, that's all it should have been. That's what it should have been, should I say.
I'm in Alex's camp. We've had a go, we've brought him up, we've had a wee look. I just don't know if he's going to cut it, Alex.
It certainly looks that way, Ox. It's a shame because the guy, you don't want to see anybody coming up playing the Rangers and that. You wish them all the days, but it's maybe Bridgman's right. Maybe the injuries and that he struggled to get over, and they've maybe been playing him, and he's maybe not been 100% right. But I look at it the defence, and there've been chances there where he could have played. Certainly, when you call it left-sided centre back, I mean, you bring the young boy Bassey that's supposed to be an out-and-out left back, and you bring him at centre back, left-hand side. That tells me something, and he certainly knows what he's doing. So he's doing the pecking order. He's doing the pecking order as far as I'm concerned.
I think he has to go and play games, mate. So he might get loan this window. Maybe not yet, but maybe if the two centre halves come back fit, you maybe see him at the end of the month. Maybe get out on loan, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what will happen. The centre back, as I said before, this young fella's coming in. I believe he can play centre back as well. So he might be. We've got to give him a chance on that. But I've always said we need another centre back. I've said it 2 or 3 times in that, because I still believe. Hope Connor Golson. I hope he does stay out at the end of the season because he's playing out his skin as well. And if he does decide to go down south or where he goes, we're definitely get a replacement, and that might cost a bit of money. But who knows? Who knows what it's the backroom staff and that they're doing. Obviously, they've got guys here marked that can come in, and let's give these guys a chance anyway and see how they go on.
Well, talking about centre backs, we gave young Leon King. I know the club have got high hopes for him. We extended his contract to 2024, so another 2.5 years. He's already made 2 first-team appearances, and now he's been added to the first-team squad. So I know they've had high hopes for him for a while. So we'll see where that takes us, He's
only 17 too, isn't he?
Aye.
Only 17, I'm like.
So we'll see. You just hopefully we're getting a conveyor belt of people who are going to challenge for the first team. Alex, they might not make it, but they're going to challenge, yeah?
Well, this is the thing. It looks quite promising. You're saying young King there, absolutely wonderful. He's got the deal done, and he's in the squad and that now. You've got young Williamson out there. He was back out on loan. I think he's going to Wraith Rovers now, midfield player. And you've got 2 or 3 of them just get through, and they'll look the part. And if we can get another Nathan Patterson out of them all, it'd be amazing. So it looks very positive in there now. And we're definitely in a better place the way we've been in that. I think it all went a bit pear-shaped. I don't want to keep getting back with the European game. I think the Malmo game, when we lost that, we never qualified for Europe. We then had to look at the finances. Certainly with the COVID didn't help things either, that we couldn't get people in and that, and then the European money. So, and when somebody comes in with an offer for one of your players, to me it's a no-brainer.
That was tragic for us, wasn't it? That was tragic for us, not getting through there.
Tragic. And I think that's what started it all off, to be quite truthful.
Yeah.
And but here we go. Another, if one goes, another door opens up. This is what it's like. It's everything in life, innit? Not just football, any sport.
I've got to be honest.
Sorry.
Now, the 2 Malmo games, I think the coaching staff are culpable, mate. I think they got a lot wrong in the 2 games.
Absolutely. We know ourselves. We should have beat. It was terrible. It did affect us right down. Every one of us. They got it wrong. They definitely got it wrong.
In both games. One at a time, Bridge. One at a time.
Sorry, Tom.
Yeah.
And that's the consequences. No, you're 100% right, Oxford. That was it. And it just sucked everything out of us, because after that you could see what was going on and hopefully now we'll get a new injection, because the team look in a far better place. And I keep getting back to it, and that as much as we hate it, every player has got a price. And if teams are prepared to go and pay the odds, we'll sell players, and that's just how it's got to be, as much as we don't like it. I mean, I'll go way back, and I know we get back to Baxter and that, and all, everybody was upset when he went. It was absolutely terrible when it went into Sunderland. The one for me later on was when Kevin Thompson went. I thought Kevin Thompson was a first-class midfield player, really. I was on holiday in Turkey, and this guy from Middlesbrough was with me and just says to me, they just signed Kevin Thompson. And I thought, God, so that's the kind of guys that you've got. We've all got our favourites, and it hurts us all when they go. But the club just goes on. The club will go on and go on.
Is there anybody that, when they left London, that you thought the world stopped? I know when Ali retired, that was enough, but is there anybody who left in a transfer?
Ali definitely that took its toll on me. Yes, I know.
Yes, you turned to drink and you're still the same.
That was it. I've never recovered from Ali Hatwell.
Just to let everybody know, Linda is now sponsored by Betty Ford.
That's terrible.
The blue prosecco is taking its toll. I don't know about the world stopping, but I mean, obviously the one that everybody's been talking about just now, because it was Alan Hutton when he left. He was that Nathan's obviously overtaken him, Oxy, in terms of the record transfer out the club. And at that point it was quite disappointing, because again he was one of the better players that we had in the team at that time, and you then seen him go down, and he did actually flourish, didn't he? I know ultimately he had a bit of a bad time there, but that was one that kind of hurt us, because obviously the type of player he was. But generally, I think, for as Alex says, for our club, we'll just have to accept that players are going to move on when they're offered the type of money that we can't refuse. And I think it's, in terms of keeping the club financially stable, it's just, I think it is a win-win situation for us, and we're just going to have to accept it.
Mm-hmm. Alan Hutton, I mean, he had a purple patch, didn't he? A purple patch. Yeah. About 6 months, he was unplayable, Alex. But maybe the 6 months before that, you'd have maybe picked him up for $2 million. But he just started 2007-8 season. He was just, he was on fire, wasn't he?
Exactly. That's what I was saying. They had a purple patch, and that's the time where you go, you either buy them, as you say, or they lose a bit of form, or the team loses a bit of form. And it's all that. He went for £9 million, which was some amount of money. But he was unbelievable as a fullback there as well. And he did well. He was doing it Tottenham. Had a good career, won the League Cup with them, and then he called Aston Villa and that. So the fella's done well. But that's just what it's like. We'll get players and we've all got favourites in that, and you hate them going. You absolutely hate it. You think, God almighty, see away. But we've just got to go on with it, because I look at it, when one door closes, one door opens up. And everybody wants to play with the Rangers. It's just if you've got the talent to go out there and put that jersey on. And it's hard with the famous All Rangers and All Rangers supporters and that. And it must have been, what do you call it, the boy must have really put heavy thought in it, what he was going to do, and he's sitting with his family and all that. And this is the way I'll go, and I'll get in there and give it a go. I'm in a top league down there, and I'll get well tasted. And who knows what's going to happen further down the line. He might turn out absolutely wonderful and going again to another top club, and it might just go pear-shaped. We just hope that he enhances himself and he takes it further. And good luck to the laddie. You never know, he might end up at the Rangers later on in his career.
Mm-hmm. No, Skipper, he was heartbroken when Willie Johnston left, 1972.
There was a man.
Was heartbroken when broke my heart when Davy Cooper left. But he was the twilight of his career, yeah.
No, good shouts.
I thought I'd never recover when Baxter left. I thought I'll never recover. Huh?
I don't know if you have.
No, I haven't, really. No,
I still look back and I think we sold Gaza about March time to 1998. I just look back and I think, I understand the reasons, but I just think, was that a good move,
Yeah.
Linda?
Yeah, I think he said himself that after he left, and obviously we didn't win the league that year, a lot of fans, Rangers fans, thought that if he'd stayed, we might have got that 10th title. But I think even at that point, we were looking for some cash to come into the club, weren't we, Ox? And obviously Dick Advocate was taken over just after that. Was Gaz's contract still have another year to go, or was that?
That's a good question, Linda. I think so.
Yeah, because that's probably why we still got a couple of million for him, didn't we? Was it? I don't know. I
think we got. Yeah. I think we got a few million for Middlesbrough.
Yeah, I remember him saying that when Walter Smith was speaking to him, saying to him it might be a good time for you to go because in your next year, last year, your contract, there's a new manager coming in. There's a possibility that, I don't know, he might not even fit into Dick Advocate's kind of way of playing or thinking. So I don't know why. I don't know whether that's maybe a reason that Gaza went as well. But I've always thought that in terms of him going Ox, that whether that kind of cost us the league that year, it certainly wouldn't have helped anyway.
Okay, before we go for the tune, Fox says Bridgman's heart was broke when Moses McNeil left. Get yourself.
Shocker, you lot. What a shocker.
Sorry, Bridge.
Get yourself a mute. We're going to have a tune.
And then in fact goes the final whistle. champions have won the rest of their clash.
The streets we run and narrow, we'll follow, we will. Follow, we will. Follow, we will. Though the streets we run and narrow, we'll follow, we will. We will follow in the footsteps of our team. Follow, follow, we will follow Rangers. Everywhere, anywhere, we will follow.
He was 50 yards out from goal on the left-hand side, and he walloped it first time, and the goalkeeper never even saw it.
There's not a team like the Glasgow Rangers. No, not one, and there never shall be one. So take all of their troubles. We will fight till the day is done. There's not a team like the Glasgow Rangers. No, not one, and there never shall be one.
Brilliant run by Haley, lifting left towards the end of the penalty area. Swings it all back across my guys. Oh, the guys has gone for Rangers. A superb goal. Walter Smith turns it to Lutzes.
There's not a team like the Glasgow Rangers. No, not one, and there never shall be one. We are the Rangers boys. Your noise, my noise. We'll be waiting to see a team and I'm from so away. For we are the Glasgow Rangers boys. We are the Rangers boys. Your noise, my noise. We'll be waiting to see a team and I'm from so away. For we are the Glasgow Rangers boys.
Durant found Haley running across the left side. A ball played across, and McCoy's coming in, heading it first time for his 29th goal of the season, and Scotland's goal king strikes again.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Give us a call and see who broke your heart when they left. I've got mine, Linda. I've thought about it 3 times. They've done it to me, Kenny Miller.
Kenny, yeah.
Oh dear. Would the boys make the Leon King? He's well thought in again, Alex, huh?
Yeah, they're quite impressed with the young fella. he seems well thought as well going through the academy. So, and Graham Murray, he spoke about him before he left as well there. So, I'm quite happy. There's certain games you could bring this kid into. I think the Stirling Albion game, I wouldn't be surprised you bring him into that, the cup tie. A couple of weeks on Friday night, if it goes ahead. So, I'd look forward to seeing the boy. Let's see what he's got about him.
Aye, okay. But he's got to get there first. But you've got to start filling in below all the time. It never stops. It's a process. It never stops, Linda.
Yeah, absolutely, Ox. And as we were saying earlier, that the academy, it seems to be producing some really good players. And you know, over the years, we've all often wondered, you know, what's coming out of the Rangers Training Centre in terms of the academy. But as Alex says earlier, if we could get another couple of Nathan Pattersons, it would be absolutely wonderful. Whether or not they make it in terms of the Rangers first team, that's another matter. But even if we're producing players that can be sold on for some sort of profit, you know, it's probably it's twofold. It's players that will eventually break into the first team and make it there, but you also have got players that will move on, and if it makes the club money, then the academy's actually doing its job.
I've always questioned, some people will question the motives of the academy, yeah? Is it a good thing? I mean, there was a time where there was a chain of thought we should shut the whole place down, Alex, but I think you've got to do it, you've got to strive to be the best at it, get the best in you can and see where it takes you. Some might be successful, some might leave you. All clubs are in the same boat, yeah?
Well, that's what it is. You're just hoping that you can unearth a gem like Nathan Patterson. You've got to remember all these kids that are getting picked up. They're the cream of the kids that's all in about here. These scouts are out, they pick them up at 8 years of age.
Hello?
All right, I'll cut across you. We've been joined by Jim. How are we doing, Jim? I take it you're working?
Aye, first night back after the finished up on Christmas Eve. I came up the road Christmas Eve. First night back. But I'm kind of glad because I said I'm going in early tonight because I'm not too busy. I'm doing the garden court and back up. But I get you live. I've had to listen the last 2 or 3 months on catch up, and it's just not the same. But and see that wee tune that just gets you going again. Well, Linda's voice as well, just a pleasure after the Christmas and New Year.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah. I was getting a wee bit bored over Christmas and that, so I've added Gary Bell and that on my Facebook. So, no, still loving the show. You're on about people leaving the club. I was really, really upset when Barry went down to Blackburn. I can tell you that story before, but that's good. And I hope Nathan, in years to come, I hope he does come back to Rangers at some point. But, well, he's done them a favour with the money and everything. Some prospect. That wee touching thing he put on the social media there, it was right to the heart, and it felt it was right to the heart. Aye, great. But I hope you all had a happy time at Christmas, New Year and that, by the way.
Aye, good to hear from you, mate. Aye. Linda, on you go. Since you get Jim gone, you can speak to Jim.
Hi, Jim. But it's good to hear from you, Jim. It just shows you we get callers in from everywhere. I cannot get you're saying about Patterson. Alex was talking about that earlier on. We were all reading the wee bit he put on social media, and I must admit it kind of choked us all up a wee bit. But we really miss the young lad all the best for the future, don't we? And we'll all be following his career at Everton really keenly, I think.
Can you switch the Hoover off, Linda? Switch the Hoover off.
I wish him all the best. I'm not going to say it was in tears reading it, but it did feel a couple of wee heartstrings reading it, like walking his family's off there through and through. So, good luck to the boy. And I say, hopefully one day he'll be back at Ibrox later on in his career. It's looking good. Quite happy the way things have been going and that. But,
brilliant, mate, brilliant. Did you have a good festive, mate?
I did, and I'll send you a photo. I've stopped drinking. I'm on different tablets for my diabetes. I can't drink now. So the family, I've got quite a big family now. So we'll not be getting your rum and that now. What you want? And they all clubbed together and they got me starting curtains for this lorry. And I've no bang on Rangers starting, but they're beautiful. They cost £1 or two, and they've got the Salt there and the Union Jack, and in the middle they've got the Poppy with SB for getting underneath that. They've got the VRMC. So I'll send you photos. As I said, I'm no bang on Rangers starting, but they look good. I'll get them up the board. Pick them up tomorrow. Get them up. They'll go well with the Rangers cover and the duvet cover and everything.
Bridge was looking at his telly's that big. He needs curtains in front of that when it opens up. Right, it's tucked in. I'll be like sitting in the picture house, Right, I'll go and let somebody else in, but right, Jim,
keep up the good work.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
All the best.
Cheers.
Catch you again, Linda. Cheers, mate.
Bye, Jim. Bye.
Oh, Linda, another fan, another fan.
Jim the trucker.
What did you call him?
Now, Ox. You are awful,
I never said anything, it was you. Aye, another fan, aye. Just shows you, Alex, didn't it? You don't realise where this show goes. We could say we go out of the country with Jimmy.
Brilliant call. You're well thought of, Linda. There you go. Well done.
Cheers, Alex.
Thank God you cut that over half in time.
I was multitasking, Bridge.
Well said.
There's one of a couple of people asking to come up to your house for Aberdeen game, see your new telly.
Wonderful.
Right, come and join us. Give your thoughts. Who did break your heart? You know, I get Baxter. Like Colin Stein was another one for you, Bridgeman, eh?
Yes, indeed, pal. Yes, indeed.
You know, I remember back in the day, Alex, that some people couldn't understand when Gordon Smith left us. Remember? He was scoring goals and playing good player for us, yeah?
He was a very good player, yeah. As you say, there's been some crackers. Big Terry Butcher as well when he left. Graham Roberts. Everybody knows about the fault with Graham Souness and that, you know. So, there've been a lot of good players left the club in that. And the thing about it is, you always keep a close eye to their careers then. Although they've left and they come back, you know. It's just a great thing. It's great being involved with the club. And if you've got the ability and the talent to come through, it's even better.
Aye. I'm trying to think. I would still say that Gaza one, yeah. You know, obviously Hutton when he was in fire and that, but you understood it, and you could argue then, but we never won the league. That was in Manchester season. I wonder if Hutton would have stayed, would we have won the league as well that year? You never know. Wonder.
Yeah, possibly, Ox. As you say, he had a real purple patch and it might have made a difference, but we all know what happened that year in terms of we never got done any favours by the league, etc. So you never know, what would have happened. But what about our current manager? How did he was obviously a very good player for us, and he was always going to go on and probably move because of his sort of stature in the game. But we lost a good player when Gio left, didn't we?
I think it was his third season. The first two was superb. The third one, he had an injury. If you remember, he quit an injury-strewn season that year. Yeah. And then he left it, and that was for a right few quid as well. I think he went with our best wishes as well, you know.
He did indeed.
You know?
He was a world-class player. My opinion.
He was up there, Alex, eh?
Very good footballer. I thought we two guys was a very good player as well. He went away. We're rich with a lot of good talented players. I had 10-class players. We might get De Boer and these guys in. Fantastic footballers. And there have been guys here that's been like Ali, Big Richard Goff and all that, Ian Durant, Ian Ferguson. We'd all favourites at the time. You go before that as well. As Bridgman says about Baxter and that. He broke people's hearts when he left. I mean, I was only a boy. 1965. I'm only a young kid. I'm 11 years of age, but I can always mind, right? My dad and all that when he went away to Sunderland. I think it was about £70,000 he went for, which was a record then for a Scottish team. He was there a couple of years, moved for £100,000 on to Nottingham Forest. And the rest of it, but when we got him back, he was nowhere near the player. But the point when he left, everybody thought that was the end of Bale at all. But the club then survived and goes on and wins a number of trophies and league flyings and that. So, as I say, one door closes, one opens up. But we've all got our favourites away back. And everyone's had the pleasure of putting a royal blue on that, so I look at it.
No, Baxter left for £72,500. There you go. There you go. I've never recovered since it. Never recovered.
It sounds chicken feed, Linda, doesn't it? Any youngster listening like myself would think 72,000. You know.
I know. You just wonder what some of the players would be worth nowadays. In this market. Somebody like Davy Cooper, I know Robert Weatherall loved Davy Cooper, didn't he? He always talks about Davy and what he would be worth nowadays. It's hard to imagine that, in terms of Davy Cooper.
I tell you, somebody who broke my heart when he moved to America was Denver Bear. Yeah.
Oh.
But we've been joined by Denver Bear. Evening, Denver.
Well, he's back. He's back.
Back again. He's back again. The trucker's back again.
The trucker.
Evening, Denver.
Linda, you keep it.
It's a polar bear just asked me for $1 for a cup of coffee there. Man alive. It's minus 12 and we're in a snowstorm now. It's unbelievable. I'm out in a part of Colorado called Yuma, Colorado, which is way east, about 150 miles east of Denver. Man alive, the conditions are wild out here.
Well, you got shorts and a Hawaiian shirt.
I got a short sleeve shirt on, that's it. I'll be right. Oh man, the conditions are unbelievable. Anyway, so the guy that left, it broke my heart when he left, Willie Henderson. Willie Henderson was my hero for a long time, man. He was a guy I always modelled myself. Couldn't play any football to save my life right. Oh man, it broke my heart when he left in 1972, I'll tell you.
Yeah, he left under I'm going to say a cloud, but it wasn't perfect. And Willie was top drawer, but long before my time. Alex, then Bridge. Linda, I'm not even going to ask you, you're far too young.
Thanks, Ox.
He was a top right winger, absolutely top. He played with Baxter, unbelievable. The rest of the world, they get selected to play the rest of the world. Willie Henderson was unbelievable. They talk about Jimmy Johnson and that, how great it was, but at that time before that, Henderson was the main man. And you've got to remember, he'd bunions and all this. He got an operation in his bunions, and he still played through that. And he left in a kind of cloud when he went away. But he's back there now, and he does a kind of ambassador for the club and different things and that, so his heart's always there. He was an every schoolboy when Rangers picked him up. He was for every schools, right into Rangers and that, and he was a tremendous right winger.
I bumped into him, Alex, at the cup final, the League Cup final against Celtic. I stood and chatted with him, just me and him, for about 10 minutes, about half an hour before the game, and it was really interesting, and what a nice guy, what a nice guy. Bridgeman.
Yeah, Henderson was class. He, as Alex Lewis said there, I mean, he came into Rangers. I think he's only maybe a couple of years older than me. I was 15 when we first saw Willie Henderson, and he was doing the wing. He was just wonderful to watch. A character. I think he went to Sheffield Wednesday for Sheffield Wednesday. I think he went on to actually Hong Kong Rangers, believe it or not. I think he ended up over there. He was a great wee player. The first one I ever knew that had, what do they call them? Lenses. They call those lenses. Jeez. And he dropped them one day. One fell out his eyes and he couldn't see it.
Well, contact lenses.
Contact lenses, pal. Contact lenses. That was a wonderful player for Rangers. And I think Rangers was the kind of club where the fans didn't want to sell any of our players and didn't want any of our players to leave. And the only reason they would leave was because they were injured or something like that, a major fallout. Other than that, there's a love business, the club loved the player, the fans loved the player, and the player loved both. And that's the way we wanted it, Hence the reason why a lot of broken hearts.
All right, I think we've been joined by a caller. I think we've been joined by Joe. Evening, Joe.
Oh. George Logan Ox, maybe.
All right, I get false information, George. False information. How are we doing, George?
How are you doing? All right.
All right, mate. Good to hear from you. Happy New Year, George. Happy New Year.
Aye, same to you, Ox. All the health to you, Ox. Just what you're saying there, I mean, it's what I talk about you, Nathan Patterson, but just what you're saying there about you, Wally Henderson. I had the wife at the last, I can't remember the game, a couple of weeks ago there was, and she sat and spoke to him for the full game. They never
seen the pictures, George. I've seen the pictures.
I just love the wee guy. His stories are absolutely fun. I've heard them a million times, but I could just listen to them all day and all night. I mean, that's a proper Ranger for me. I didn't, obviously, you didn't get to appreciate these guys because they've all finished playing and that, but you look up in them and things like that, and you didn't actually realise, being British will tell you, you didn't actually realise how good these guys were until you hear the World Select they played in Ox and things like that. He told me the story about when he was playing in the World Select. I think 3 times he played in it. Him and Puskis and all guys like that. I mean, that's unbelievable for any Scottish player to do that. But for him to do it 2 or 3 times is absolutely fantastic. Like Ox.
Aye, top player, mate. Top player. One of the best in Europe at the time. And I think George Bestall, man, says to him, "Model yourself on Willie Henderson, Alex."
Fantastic player, Willie Henderson. I mean, I'd seen him 17 years age and he breaks into the Rangers team. You've got to remember, Rangers, you Davy Wilson, other wing, Willie Henderson, right? They were Scottish international players at the top of their game. Baxter, unbelievable. John Gregg. The team was unbelievable. And we Willie just going down that wing. It was a flying machine. And as I said before, you get across the road where Jimmy Johnson was a fantastic footballer, and they get away from it. But before that, wee Henderson was the guy. He was the main guy in that position. He played 1961. You can look it up when he played England. And Calvo breaks his leg and all this, right? You've got Baxter scoring the 2 goals. You've got Henderson running down there at Big Flowers that just passed away there. He's pulling them down. He was unbelievable down the wing. Fantastic footballers, man. And to think to go and play with the rest of the world. He's right, Pally, with Eusebio's passed away as well, but they were all the best of mates. This is the kind of level these guys were playing at.
Mm-hmm. Legends, aye, man. George, aye, nice guy. What about some of the people that's left? And before you get your thoughts on Nathan, George, what about some of the people that's left that you thought, oh God, bad move this?
Well, you spoke about. I mean, you spoke about Gascoigne and things like that. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're famous for saying when Laudrup left. I mean, Laudrup never had the best end to his Rangers career, in my opinion, as well. I mean, it's always easy to remember that, but you remember all the good times with Laudrup. But I mean, I had a wee conversation with some folk in the Bob Jot the other day, and we're talking about Barry Ferguson. I mean, we're talking about his Barry Ferguson legend. No, for me, a great player in that. But that broke my heart when he left Ox, because he was probably the one at my time when. I mean, Barry Ferguson was running the country at the time with his football, and he really broke my heart when he left. And again, if you look at the time when he left, it was probably to help out the club and things like that, but even guys like Arthur Newman retired just for the career he had at Rangers, and Stephen Close, Big Dado Purcell, guys like that, Ox, Mark Hateley, guys like that. When you think when they leave, you think sometimes you think to yourself, has anybody ever got to replace these guys? True enough, Ken. Richard Gough, when you think about them leaving, you think to yourself, has anybody ever got to come in and be the same person, the same player for your club that they were in? There's always somebody that comes in Ox at the end of the day, isn't there?
One door shuts, another one opens, George.
Well, what's that? I mean, we talk about, I can't even know everybody's favourite Ox, but you talk about Lee Wallace, but what he done for us now, and a lot of folk are saying, you're famous for saying, Ken time waits for no man, Ox. Ken, you think it was John Gray, everybody's got to leave at one time, but time waits for no man, Ox, and it's all about the club at the end of the day. So when somebody leaves, like you say, another door opens and it just gives somebody else a chance.
Mm-hmm. And what's your views on the Parson deal, mate?
Yeah, Ox, I'm quite a sad guy. So I listened back to the show for March when the COVID party happened. I think it was a couple of days after it. We actually spoke about the COVID party, and at the time, Ox, a lot of people's opinion was, Ken, get rid of a lot of them, show your authority and get rid of a lot of them. My opinion at that time was Rangers needs to look after number one, Ox, and we need to select the young boys. If you're daft enough to do it, you cannot be sacked. But I think Rangers had to be clever. And boy, Calvin Bassett, who's proved to me to be a great player for us, coming on to a great game anyway. And I remember he was only 21. And on that show that night, I said to yourself, and I listened to it back earlier, who was on, said, we maybe get 8 or 10 million for this guy, talking about Patterson at one time. Mm-hmm. Deep down in my head, I didn't believe it, 8 or 10 million for the guy, because he's not improved any since that time in March. In my opinion, that's just my honest opinion, Ox, I don't think he's improved much since March to now, if you know what I mean. For us to get 16 million for that laddie, he's got to be a good player for us, Ox, but 16 million pounds, that's a massive turning point for our club, Ox. Now, I can't everybody goes on about us winning the league and getting us back to where we were. My famous words, Ox, is we need to become a selling club again, and not selling Billy Gilmour to Chelsea for 600 grand or selling, I mean, we thought we'd got a coup when we were selling the boy Windass for double the money we paid for him and things like that, Ox. I mean, we've just got 16 million pounds for that guy, Ox. We've just got 4 million pounds for that. Well, it's not 16 million, it's 12 million, but let's be honest, we've got 12 million pounds for him. We've just had 4 million pounds for a manager. In my opinion, we've replaced him with every bit as good a manager. Let's hope so anyway. So we've just took in 16 million pounds, Ox. That's when I think our club's getting back to its best, Ox, because I keep on saying it. We were a basket case a few years ago and nobody would come near our club. Never mind coming in and get a second choice right back who can't get a game at a club for 16 million pounds, Ox. I think that's a great bit of business. Absolutely fantastic bit of business.
Aye, and it might come back and bite his George. He might go on and be the best player the world's ever seen, but he might not.
Well, if you look at that, Ox, I mean, I think I looked at that during the summer there when the young boy Billy Gilmour, I mean, he played for Chelsea against Liverpool, and I thought he was absolutely fantastic. And I watched him playing against England, and I thought he was every bit as good a player as anybody in the park. And you're talking about the guys in the midfield going for 50 million. I mean, there's that boy just went for 100 million and things like that. I thought he was every bit as good as anybody. And that's what I said to myself, Ken. That proves we were a basket case, Ox, because we needed that 600 grand at that time, Ox. Let's be honest about it, Ken. And let's be honest about it. We definitely needed the money for Billy Gilmour for Chelsea. But now you're getting 16 million pounds. And see, in 20 years' time, also, if you look back and see these 16 million pounds for that boy, he's been on to play with Manchester United, Real Madrid, and European Cup finals and things like that. Fox, it'll not break my heart because we've had 16 million pounds for that guy. We'd need to win the league 4 years now in our country for to get 16 million pounds. Ox, get what I mean? So I'm absolutely delighted with the deal, and good luck to the boy because he's a Ranger at the end of the day. Good luck to him, but for us to get 16 million pounds for our second choice right back, and he could probably go in the panel the noon. I saw you guys who was the best out of him and Tavernier. It'd probably be split down the middle because that's the way it is. A lot of folk like Tavernier, a lot of folk like Patterson, but I'll keep Tav if you're getting 16 million pounds for a backup right back, Ox.
All right, we've been joined by Bob here also. Evening, Bob.
Good evening, Ox. How you doing?
Good, mate. Yourself?
I just listened to the gentleman's sentiments there about Nathan Patterson. He's exactly spot on. I mean, I'm sad in a football sense, the boys away, but in a financial sense, I think it's a wonderful deal for Rangers. Just to reiterate what the boys say there, this is the second choice right back, and you get a fee like 16 million quid for him. Fantastic piece of business. And, so it's all about going to the future now. Nathan Patterson's away, and there isn't a footballer in the world at the moment wouldn't jump at the chance of joining English Premiership, and it's riches. So good luck to the young boy, and I hope it all works out for him. Mm-hmm. But it's all about the future for us. So has there anything been said tonight about anybody else coming in?
Well, we'll sign James Sands, a guy.
The American fella, yeah. Aye, let's do that.
Obviously, you're going to read about hundreds of players in the next few days, Bob, but we just hear him with a scarf standing and knocking out here. Alex, We'll wait and see him with a scarf on, eh? Oh, Linda. And I'll go back to Denver.
Yeah, definitely, Ox, because Rangers just keep everything sort of under wraps now, don't they? I mean, it's understandable anyway. And until you see them, as you say, over Auchenhowie, we don't really believe anything. But the point that George was making about Nathan Patterson, I think he's, whether we like it or not, his actual recent appearances for Scotland and what he did on the international stage recently probably gave us even more bargaining power with Everton. I think it might have added a couple of million onto that total.
Aye, maybe. Denver, what do you know about the boys' Sands?
I don't really follow that much of the US football. I'm more following the Mexican football, so I don't know anything about them, but I can't help you, mate. Sorry, I only live in America. That's all I know. I still follow the Rangers, and that's it. Rangers reserves, Rangers boys club.
Top man. There's no many Mexicans made it in Europe, Denver, as players, eh?
They're no good travellers. You know, they'll go north of the border. That's about it. You know, but good players there enough. Good players. Good standard of football. You know.
They never made it at Rangers either.
No, I know.
No.
Well, you know, it's different culture completely. You know, Alfie's no Mexican, but I mean he's still South American and all that. You know, but I don't know. The Mexican guys, they don't travel well. There's not that many of them up here either. There's a few in Colorado, but overall they don't travel too well. You know.
How cold were you for the match out?
I know, we're now down to minus 14 or something like that. Jesus. Going to move to Hawaii or something like that. So do you think that the young fella Patterson and all the best of the young fella, do you think it's going to turn any of the other players' heads? Think they're going to see what he's getting and think, well, you know, maybe it's better making a move now, you know?
I hope not. Bridgman?
Well, I do think it'll start to make them think. Not that they didn't know in the first place. Some of these guys they know they're going to be huge stars and will command great, massive money in the transfers. And they're talking about Aribo and Glenn Kamara. They're there. They know it. But Morelos has been involved on the fringes. But you know, he knows there's big money going around. They know what they're worth and what they're going to get. And I don't think the boys are going to turn their heads. But certainly the youngsters that are coming through have got a target now. So if they're good signing onto the Rangers first team, well, you could be a young Nathan Patterson. Just do what you've got to do and take it all in. Obviously, you need to have skills as well. So under no illusions. But yeah, I think the guys know. I don't think there's many heads that will get turned, but there will be some.
Right, okay. No, I think usually football players are pretty selfish. As a rule, Alex, and they look after themselves. They do it right for them, yeah?
I totally agree. If you look back, if you're fortunate enough to play with international football, with Scotland at the time, when they had the right good players and that, they would go in international duty and they'd come back with the Anglos, and guaranteed they'd be sitting there discussing wages. And you would always have one player out of the top teams in Scotland putting in a transfer request because they found that the money was across the border. The problem Rangers had with Nathan was, if young Nathan already, they were desperate to sign him, right? But if it went through and it never materialised, he comes back to Rangers, right away his agent knows exactly what kind of money he was going to get offered in there. So then he's in to try and get his wages put up at Rangers. Then the unrest comes. They find out this young kid, what his value is, and it goes right up the scale. And they've got a wage structure at Ibrox in it. So This is what happens when a person gets up for transfer, finally gets away. If he doesn't, they know what the value is, and the agents are right in there to get them the best deal.
Linda?
Yeah, absolutely. The players really hold all the cards, Alex, don't they? I know clubs can dig their heels and they can refuse to sell players, but then you've then got maybe an unhappy person in the camp, and you don't really want that. But certainly the wages that young Patterson will be getting now will definitely, maybe influence some of the players in our teams or our squads thinking. We've talked earlier on, the one that kind of jumps out at you is Aribo. People have been talking about Kent and obviously Morelos as well. But I don't know, you possibly have got maybe one more going out the door potentially, but let's hope that we can hold on to them, and then the summer's just another ball game altogether, Alex, I think, in terms of who could possibly be going out the door. But yeah, I do agree. I think the Patterson Dulocks might turn a few heads.
We'll see what it takes. It'll be interesting, Georgia.
Aye, definitely is, Ox. I mean, I remember when we were talking about it, Ox, and you're probably ken yourself, we were putting value in all these players, Ox. Tavernier, and I think we were saying they're worth more now or they're worth less than when they actually came, and we're trying to add up what the club would be worth, what the playing staff would be worth at the time, Ox. I don't think we're over the score, Ken, if we're realistic. I feel like if we'd maybe sell Goldson or something, maybe 2 or 3 million, things like that. I think we're pretty honest about it, Ox. And right now, I mean, we had a chat in our group chat a few weeks ago there, and I still believe that Joe Aribo will be the next person to leave Scottish football for 25 million. He'll be the only person to leave for 25 million, because I just think he's at that class. He's not going to go into a Crystal Palace or an Everton or Ox. I really, really believe that he could go into a Tottenham midfield and within a year be one of the top players. So I think Joe Aribo will be a guy who will leave Rangers for 25 million, Ox. I really believe that. And after seeing that with Patterson, 16 million, I mean, I really do believe it, Ox. And we're in some position, Ox, but in an absolute fantastic position. Maybe we can go and let Giovanni get a couple of players he's in and make the squad he's in now, because he's come in and he's done well. Now, and he's not got a lot of 16 million, but even if he gets a couple of players off of that, Ox, we're in a fantastic position.
I will see what it takes. Is Bob, Jeff?
I don't know so much. I mean, the big fear I've got is, as Linda says there, she touched on it, that I didn't want to see a decimation of the squad. The squad's quite settled, and all our first team squad's there, and if we can survive the lure of this transfer market, so much the better. But there is a possibility we might see a wee bit of a squad decimation here, because our boys played really well last year and they won the league, and it's been noticed, and a lot of these English clubs are starting to throw money about now. I believe that Alfie's been heavily linked with Newcastle, or is that just a popular rumour, paper talk? Anybody heard anything? I don't know. But like I say, I didn't want to see a decimation of the squad. I want the squad to stay together at least to the end of the season. I want to see what's that?
What are you hearing, Bob J? What are you hearing?
Well, I heard that Alfredo was linked with Newcastle. Surely you've all heard that, Ian.
No, I haven't heard that, pal. Sorry to say.
Like I say, I mean, you just seen Southampton getting 10 out of there yesterday for £100 million. I don't know whether that's a stabilisation of the club. It probably is. But a lot of these English clubs are threatening to spend some serious money in this transfer market. And they come out here for our top boys like Kamara, like Aribo. I don't want to see us seriously weakened, because we need to be strong enough to see off FC Banzai. So I'll tell you, it's no sort of a sweetness in life. Not at the moment, anyway. I just want to see the squad survive this transfer window.
Banzai.
FC.
All right.
FC.
Cheers, Denver.
I've just gone out 70 miles from Denver and I've floated the effing highway. I'll need to find an alternative route. All the best from Denver, Colorado. Bye, guys.
Well done, Denver. Well
done.
Cheers.
At least Jim was driving his truck quite happily, Alex, wasn't he?
Oh, great. Great show, man. Fantastic. As you say, surprises all the time, and it's brilliant.
I think just Old School Blue done a thing. I don't know where he done it from, but it was. I took a snapshot of where we've been listening, and it was like 82 countries. It was frightening. There was somebody in Vietnam listening to us.
Wow.
Could be a signing.
Aye.
Could be right enough.
What to do? It'll be good morning Vietnam. You know what I mean?
Well, they're signing all these Japanese fellas. Let's just go for it with them.
Aye. Dive.
FC Tenko.
No,
Bob, you can't say that.
Is there a lot of money getting paid for these guys from Japan?
Don't care, mate. Couldn't care less.
Okay. No, I'm just asking.
No, I don't think there is, but I couldn't care less, Couldn't care less. We've got to just worry about ourselves, Linda. George, Linda first.
Yeah, definitely. Look after our own house, Ox. And we've got a good squad just now. We're in a really good position, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm really missing Rangers just now. And as we said earlier, we're watching all the football going on down south, and the fact that we've brought the winter break forward, but there's only another 10 days to 2 weeks to go, and can't wait to watch them again. And let's hope that we'll maybe get some fans back into the stadiums too, but it's still quite a dodgy position, I think, in terms of the fans, Ox. So we'll just need to wait and see how it all pans out.
Fans, Scottish football, they were going to affect this COVID Omicron. No made a difference, but don't get me started, Linda. George?
Exactly.
I think if we can commit this transfer window, Ox, like we were saying there a minute ago, if we can commit this transfer window, knowing the player we lose as a second choice right back, Ox, I'll be delighted with that. Even if we didn't bring it, if we bring the boy Sands in the day, if we didn't bring anybody else in, Ox, I'll still be delighted going forward for the rest of the season. We've got money in the bank. And we've kept the squad together. Now, I didn't think we'd be able to keep the squad together, because I thought folk were wanted to leave and things like that, but I think they've all got a wee cuddle for Van Bronckhorst now, and I think they're like playing for Rangers again. I think that's showed in the performances the last few weeks. They've enjoyed their football again. Alfie's getting to be a striker again. Certain people are getting to be defenders again. I think that's what they're wanting, Ox. We're sort of missing that. Again, I think they were getting told to do things that wasn't part of their job, if you know what I mean. We Alfie's getting held back and things like that. Just let Alfie stay up front and score goals, and he's doing well in the Ox. I think Golson's came out in a game as well. I think he'll leave in the summer, but if we can keep these guys together through the January transfer window and get into the start of February, I think we're in a great position, Ox. 6 points ahead going into the start of the second part of the season, Ox. I think that's a great position for Rangers to be in.
I agree.
I agree.
And you come, Bob?
Well, you look at this, we're speculating here and talking about this great English Premiership. There's a lot of people who went down there for various companies, and it's not worked out. It's seemingly the absolute promised land that everybody makes it out to be. If you think about it, is there a better honour in the game than playing for Glasgow Rangers? All right, the wages aren't as big as the big hitters in England, but at the end of the day, you're getting a chance of regular European football, a chance of winning trophies regularly, and a big, massive support behind you. I would say that's a good incentive for any young guy. But the name of the game is ruled with everything, the dreaded money. So that's all what we can do about it. As George said, we'll just have to sit tight here, wait and see what the transfer window brings, and I hope that, I just hope that the squad's still together at the end of it. If no, we can improve the squad. There's a thing. All these alternatives will come to fruition end of January. We'll just have to wait and see.
I think you've got to constantly plan, Linda. People have exit clauses in their contracts. You've got to Ross Wilson. It looks as if so far so good, isn't it? Where he's planning.
Yeah, because they talk about the succession planning, and obviously that even includes the manager, and that's obviously come to fruition for us. But if they're looking at the players that potentially would go out, they'll have a list of players that they might bring in to replace them. Because I mean that they must be doing that this month, because as you said earlier, every player in our squad does have their price. So they will have a plan in place depending on who goes, and then in terms of what sort of finance will be given to the manager to bring in potential replacements. So it is going to be it's going to be a busy month in that regard for us. But as George says, if we could get away with only Patterson going out the door, it would be a success for us. But we'll just have to wait and see. I've got a sneaky feeling there might be one more player goes that we would consider potentially, one of our established players. But we'll just need to wait and see.
Would that be Barker?
Sorry, Bridge?
Would that be Barker, do you think? A major disappointment if he goes, wouldn't it?
No, Bridge, it's Andy first.
I'll be gutted when Andy goes.
That's Oxy's pal.
Oh, that was one of the best laughs. See, we've got that league trophy. In years to come, that'll be a trivia question, won't it? People will show that and they'll go, who's that? And I'll be Googling him and seeing how many games he played. And I'll go, what's that? Brilliant. I'll be gutted when he leaves. Yeah, Alex?
He's certainly pretty spit down there, isn't he? Maybe he's out for Jim Bell's job for all you know. That'll be the next thing for him.
Brilliant. Stevie G likes it. He can be in and bid 50 million for him. But aye. Be interesting. It's an interesting time, and I think that the good thing if people do leave, George, it's the calibre of player that then we're linked with. Where we were 4 years ago and where we are now, it's different,
That's exactly it, Ox. That's exactly it. I mean, never brought in the American boy of the day, who, by the way, I think we missed the trick. We gave him number 18 or 19. I think we should have given him number 80, but that's another story. I think we've been linked with guys now, Ox. I mean, it's guys that are playing in the Italian league and things like that, Ox, and they've had a bit of calibre. We've never had that, Ox, and that's why I say it's sorry to winning the league this year, Ox, and getting the 55th title and things like that, Ox. But I always believe that we need to be back to becoming a selling club again, Ox, because if you've not got players that are maybe looking at auction, then you're not doing very well. I think everybody's looking at our players and then taking a bit of note. So for us to replace these guys, we're going to have to we're going to have to spend a wee bit of money. They're not just going to be able to spend £1 million on a boy for, I don't know, Motherwell and Hibs and things like that to replace wee Alfie. We're well past that now, Ox. We brought Alfie in for £1 million and what kind of money he's worth now. Aribo we brought in for 300 grand. So we're going to have to go to that next level if we want to go to that next level, Ox. We're talking about Champions League football for the day dot next season, so we're going to have to bring a decent calibre of player to replace the guy that's actually leaving.
Can I come in? It's not got
to be easy either, Ox.
On you go, Bridge.
I was just to say to George, by the way, Happy New Year, George. George has
been on for 3 hours.
I know. I haven't had a chance to speak to him. I think that George has been on the that was a bandwagon of we should be able to sell players. I don't think we've ever been in a position to sell players properly. We're now here, we're now there, and look what's happening. Young lads away. But well done to George. He's been beating that drum for a few years now, maybe 5 or 6 years even. And he was been there. He's seen the transformation and getting us to there. So well done, George. Well done.
No, I think it's just a point that had to get to, Bridge. I think it was, and no shame on the guys we had before, Bridge. We've spoken of them, we've highlighted all these guys before. They'd done a job for us at one time, but they weren't selling their own guys. They weren't the guys who we could sell on. I mean, even guys who we were selling on, we were getting absolute buttons for. I mean, the boy Waghorn and things like that. We've got absolute buttons for these guys when we should have really got more money. I mean, Ken, your favourite player, number 29, he left for, they let him go on a free transfer and things like that. That's the level we were at, Bridge. That was the level we were at. I don't think there's any one of the guys in our team now who would leave without our wish and wouldn't get the money for them. Bridge, I mean, just look at our midfield. I mean, there's I think it was 2 years ago the day we signed the boy Kamara for 50 grand. Ken, what kind of money is he worth now? And I'm not wanting to go about and sell no players, Bridge, but we're in a great position now where we weren't before.
Yeah, I agree with you, pal. I agree 100%.
Glenn Kamara, he cost 50 grand.
Well,
50 grand, aye. What a bit of business. Aye, but the club's definitely in a better place. We're even in a better place financially due to the transactions this week, Wonder. But you have to keep building.
Yeah, absolutely, Ox. And, we do have to think about the future and improving the squad as well. But it might be the summer before, Gio's in a position where he can do a kind of total evaluation, because you've only got the sort of 4 weeks and things can happen fairly quickly. But we're certainly in a great position, as George alluded to earlier, what we were like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It's just a totally different ball game. And I know not everybody in Scotland's happy with the situation, but we're certainly, back where, relatively back where we belong. And, it should be a positive for the country as well, the fact that Rangers are strong again, because we can spend money, we can bring money into the game. Unfortunately, it's not seen as a positive all over, but we are certainly grateful, and what a job the board have done. And we've got a great manager in place as well. And think about what we were all thinking when Gerrard left, and what was going to happen in the coming weeks. And as I say, we're in a very, very good position. I'm looking forward to the second half of the season.
Aye, and I've just been messaged. Somebody says Jim the Trucker was on -12 where he has. He's getting a window down. Denver there, and he's moaning about it. Denver, you're away from Scotland for too long, isn't he? Yeah, he's got to man up Alex, isn't he?
Great. Well said there, Linda, as well. I totally agree. But Glenn Kamara, 50, that's the steal of the century. Let's not be kidded there. And we can thank Neil McCann there as well. So we've got some really talented footballers out there that are worth a lot of money, and we're not here to sell the players. That's what we don't want. George is quite right, but we're trying to keep them here at the end of the season to win this league. But unfortunately, if somebody comes in with a price that's a way above, there's not much they can do, and that's the reality of football. Not just here, no here in Scotland, just worldwide. I'm just glad after Stevie Gerrard had left, we were all anticipating how it was going to go, and we've went better. We're away by estimations and qualified for the round of Europe, and we're looking good. Well, I'm going to say the Aberdeen game, that it's supposed to be 2 weeks on Tuesday. I have 2 tickets here for the game, and I don't know if I'm going or not, what we're going to be doing, if the game's going to be on. So that's the thing I know. We're sitting here just waiting. And they're £32 a ticket.
What did she say? I think she sort of basically said there'll be nothing. She'll know to the 17th. Is that right?
Well, there you go. That's the day after it. The game's supposed to be. So there's some way I've been working. So how are we supposed to get to Aberdeen? I don't know if what the club will do there, but the tickets are out anyway. That's just how it is. It's an absolute farce. There you go.
I've never seen what she actually said again.
Yeah.
Is that what she said? Yeah?
Yeah, Ox, I think there's to be no change until the 17th, which is the Monday. So these current restrictions are through until the 17th. I think they play on the 17th and we're the Tuesday. Is that right, Alex? We the 18th?
Right. Celtic play Hibs on the 17th. They're at home. Right. We go to Pittodrie the next day. But the tickets was out well in advance there.
I think what will happen, there'll be crowds allowed down on the 17th and then it'll be cancelled on the 18th.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you're right. It'll be cancelled right through to February, then it'll be back in again. That's exactly what happens here.
I think you're right,
Oxford. I think you were right there, pal.
Hopefully that is the biggest game of the season. We go away there and get a bridge, man. I know it's a couple of weeks away, but that is a massive game, Alex, isn't it? 1-0, thank God. Ticking the box, yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Just as you say, tick the boxes as go along, and that would really rub it right in and let them know that if we're not going to be moved, as the song says. And I have every belief we will go from strength to strength, and with the support we've got behind them, everybody.
Alex, I think if they don't have a crowd in on the 17th, their midden. I think that'll cause major ructions in Scottish football. That's what I think.
It would be funny if it was a day after, wouldn't it? Come on.
Oh, it'd be some laugh. It'd be some laugh if they go like that. They're only 500 in it, their game in the Monday. Turn and say, right, put the Audrey full house the next night. God, anything can happen.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful, by the way. That would be wonderful. That would be a great move for the human race. Great move for humanity.
We'll see what it takes. It's going to be rolling into a real interesting time, George, and it's going to come quick.
That's it. I mean, I agree with what Linda's saying there. You've missed the football the last couple of weeks here. I think it's the best time of the year for the football. That everybody's on road and things like that. We've missed it, but a couple of weeks soon, hopefully we can get back in about it. And we're all looking forward to seeing the team again. We're really looking forward to. We had 7 games under Gio, so hopefully we can get the rest of the games and just keep playing the same way and just keep going off.
Big game, Bob Chair, hard game, first game back, but Audrey, but hopefully it's a tick in the boxer.
It always is. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we can that lot only play 4 times a season, so, and we've overcome it before. We've got a really good squad. There's no reason why we can't go up there and overcome them again. I'm confident all the time.
All right. Well, gentlemen, ladies, we've reached that time of the evening. Linda?
Oh, cracking show tonight, Ox. Really enjoyed it. Lots of great calls, lots of good chat, and yeah, thanks for having me on. Really, really enjoyed it.
A pleasure. Another fan, Jim. Yeah.
The trucker.
Yeah, some may say that. I think he'll send you a Yorkie in the post, Linda. A Yorkie.
A shout out to Jim. Yeah, call of the evening was Jim.
Well said, Linda.
Over to you, man.
Oh, what can I say? A great night. Thank you very much, Linda, for partnering me in this presentation thing. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, I hope you've enjoyed this show tonight because it's been marvellous. Absolutely marvellous. Everybody, keep it going for the Rangers because the Rangers are the people. We are the people. Keep it going.
Here. Can I thank everybody for taking part tonight? For the Pansy in Colorado, man up, please. Can we, all the callers, thanks a lot. Great to hear from each and every one of you. Bob Jia, Jim the Trucker, Denver, George Logan, Alex, and of course, can I thank Linda and Bridgeman for taking part in the show, Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals, the boss for taking the calls. And this has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night. We'll be joined by Big Stevie and the one and only All Bear. Take it away, Old School Blue.
Fantastic show, Ox. Thank you.